To order the Solano Community College District Governing Board meeting of December 3rd, 2025. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's back there.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
President Honeychurch. Trustee Cargo Reed.
Here.
Trustee Para. Trustee Wynn Greer.
Here.
Trustee Thurston.
Here.
Trustee Young.
Here.
Trustee Boyce.
Here.
Student Trustee Rodriguez.
Thank you. Now is item 4 approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, agenda is approved. There are no requests to speak on items in the closed session. So we'll now move into closed session and resume the regular meeting at 7 p.m. Regular meeting and report of action in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session. And there are no requests to speak under number 9, comments from members of the public. So under reports, item 10, and there are no reports. So we'll move on to item 11, which is the consent agenda. I know all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion. There's no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed or removed. Time will be provided before the vote for clarification questions without removing an item from the consent agenda. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Thank you. For a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, consent agenda is approved. There are no items removed. We're on to item 13 on the agenda, which is non-consent agenda items, action items. First of which will be presented by our superintendent president, determination of reciprocal parking easement agreement and escrow release instructions.
Yes, this item is a termination of reciprocal parking easement agreement, which was created between the city of Vacaville and at the time, the Doolittle Foundation, which is now the Roland Freedom Center. And the parking easement agreement was dated that if no building had occurred, that there should be a decision on whether or not to extinguish the parking easement. And so we are bringing this to the board for approval to actually end the parking easement agreement because no building has taken place at the Nut Tree property. And there are also instructions for the disbursement of the escrow funds that have been brought together for the purchase of any parking if any building had taken place. So we're asking for approval.
Is there a motion from the board to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second that motion.
So moved and seconded to approve the termination of the parking easement agreement. Any questions, comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Next item is under Human Resources, Sal Abadi is the presenter. It's a resignation to retire.
Thank you. I'm actually, sorry, Trustee Honeychurch, President Honeychurch, members of the board. Thank you. I'm actually going to yield the time to our Dean of the School of Liberal Arts, Dean Glines. He's got some statements from the school.
Hello, thank you Superintendent President and members of the board. It's my honor and privilege to recognize the retirement of Mark Van Jones, who's a dedicated and extraordinary service to this campus for 35 and a half years. Not quite as much as Anne Marie, but close. During his tenure, Mark was truly inspirational in shaping the foundation of our art department He helped build the bones of the program. We know that advocating successfully for an addition of 4 full-time faculty members during his tenure, 3 of whom still continue to serve our students in campus with dedication and distinction. His vision also supported the department's expansion into the fields of both art history and digital media arts, ensuring that our curriculum evolved in step with its field. Mark's leadership extended well beyond the classroom. He played a central role in the renovation of the 1300 building. He helped design creative and functional learning spaces for our students to continue the benefits of the instruction in the spaces therein. He's also served in many critical areas in our institution. He served in governance, as in union leadership, served on the curriculum committee and calendar committee, just to name a few. When the pandemic forced the college to rethink instructional delivery, Mark once again stepped forward. He was instrumental in being one of the first programs to safely be brought back for face-to-face instruction, and served on a committee that guided for the safe bringing back of other programs through those transitions. Mark's colleagues, speak highly of him and with deep admiration. Kathy Kern shares how fortunate she felt to have Mark both as a colleague and as a friend, noting that his reverence for art and care he brought to his teaching. His assignments were continually reimagined over the course of his career. Many of us can picture the extraordinary still life installations he created in the classroom setting, and also how he was able to redesign the checkerboard grid of the floor for the art studio during the remodel. Kathy beautifully stated, "Your teaching lives on in the hands and hearts and minds of the students and colleagues that you taught and that have worked with you here on campus." Beyond campus, Mark's passion for the environmental stewardship and the outdoors has shaped his life's work. He's been actively involved in Solano Land Trust, Sierra Club, and Napa Watershed Committee. He's an avid cyclist and lover of the natural world. Mark's career is defined by creativity, service, and advocacy, and a profound commitment to his students. His influence is woven through our college and our facilities, our programs, and our faculty community, and most importantly, in the countless students' lives he's touched. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments on behalf of Mark.
I want to turn it over if I may.
Of course.
I know you're itching to be done. I'm going to have Rachel talk real quick, who's also a colleague about Mark, okay?
Sure.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here speaking in tribute to Mark Candone. I'm a colleague of his in the Art and Digital Media Arts Department. As Neil mentioned, through his 3.5 decades of service, Mark built programs that have elevated our standing in the arts, both in our campus and beyond. In fact, his collaboration with Kate Delos shaped a unified foundations program so innovative that UC Berkeley actually adopted it as their basis for their own foundations program. He also helped establish the art history program in terms of hiring a full-time position. He advocated and helped hire for the graphic design program, which was my full-time position. Ferdinanda Florence, who is our full-time art history professor, shared that she flew across the country for her first interview for the full-time art history position at the college in 2001. She had very little teaching experience in Thin Res Bay, but Mark took a big chance, as well as the interview hiring committee, and she was brought on board. It was a new position, and Mark Candone helped establish her classes and figure out her schedule, all the things that faculty struggle with when they get a new position. Not long after it first started, there was talk of serious budget cuts, and it looked like recent hires might be let go. Mark was there on the board at the board meeting for moral support as the head of the faculty association advocating for her job. She's very grateful for steady support in difficult times. From the student side, I gathered a number of tributes. Shauna Booker wrote, "Mark Candone's guidance opened my eyes. He became a hearing aid to my inner ear so I could hear the pulse of other artists. I became aware of everything." Antoinette Campbell added also, "I will be grateful to you that you were my first art teacher. You challenged me to push myself beyond what I thought I could do. Your patience and intelligence guided me and helped me accomplish wonderful pieces and build foundational skills I keep with me still." Alongside all his professional impact, Mark navigated enormous personal hardship during the years many of us have known him here. He lost his wife to cancer, He was evacuated multiple times due to wildfires, and in 2022, in the middle of the pandemic, his home burned down. Josephine, another student, mentions this in her tribute to Mark. Mark inspired me to always surround myself with what brought me creative joy and inspiration. Despite the difficulties and losses the pandemic brought him, Mark continued to be that beacon of kindness and balance we all sought for those difficult days. His classes brought focus, his insight brought perspective and drive, and his cats always brought joy and laughter. And as an aside, during the 2017, I think, wildfires, Mark evacuated to this campus and lived in our building for a week, and his cats roamed the hallways. So that's a literal truth there. In the words of Jean Lorenz, my other colleague in the art department, she wanted to say, we want to thank Mark for building programs, shaping curriculum, advocating for the arts, mentoring generations of artists, protecting the environment, and creating a space where students discover themselves. His legacy is alive in every transferred student, every working artist, and every person who stepped through the door of 1303. He's part of the DNA of this department, and while we celebrate him today, we hope that this retirement is not an ending, but simply a shift, and we welcome him back here again. We want to thank him for his honesty, his steadiness, and the work that he put into Solano College for decades, and we will miss him dearly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Definitely a great person here at the college, great artist. So with that, thanks again to both of you. Is there a motion to approve the retirement?
I'll make the motion. I sadly will make the motion, even though I didn't know Mark, but I'll make the motion, President Honeychurch.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the retirement of Mark Mandone. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
Do a round of applause.
Yeah.
Tell him we congratulate him. See him next. Thank you so much. Next item is item E, Finance and Administration. Susan Wheat is the presenter. And it's a resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds.
Yes, thank you, President Honeychurch, members of the board. This is a resolution to go out for our final tranche of our bond, our 2012 bond. As you may remember, back in June, I brought a resolution from the county assessor's office so that we could put it on the next tax roll. This is now for us to approve us going out to the investors to get to that bond sold. Some of the big things that we've used this bond for, so that everybody remembers, is this wonderful building that we're sitting in tonight. Our great science building, building 2700, our biotechnology program in Vacaville, our Autotech program in Vallejo, all that has been paid for with our bond funds. This last tranche G, Series G, mainly is going to go our hydronic loop that we keep hearing about, and we'll hear more about later on the agenda. But it's also going to go for a lot of small caps projects. And our small caps projects around this campus with the bond have really made an impact. It's been able to refresh buildings, like Building 300 was under a small caps project. Some of our IT infrastructure was done under the small caps projects. Our ADA upgrades that we've done is under small caps projects. So we're asking that the board approve this to go out for that last $28 million of the bond, so that we can continue this work. I will say, typically we go to the bond creditors, which is Moody's bond rating, and we do an annual just kind of answer some questions, get the rating. This year we did a full-blown meeting with them. They flew in, met with them in San Francisco in anticipation of this last tranche, and we were able to get our credit rating increased. So it's a good thing, doing good things with the college. There are some documents in the board's packet that isn't necessarily in the public's packet. That's just for your information. One of them is a preliminary contract. This is the contract that goes to the investors that actually purchase the bond. The other one is an official statement, preliminary official statement, and that is what we send out to potential investors to tell them how great we are. So that's in there for your review, but we're asking for your approval on this resolution.
Thank you, Vice President.
I'll make the motion first, and then I have something coming.
Is there a second?
Second.
I second the motion.
Go ahead.
Sure, I just wanted to, celebrate this a little bit. That's monumental to be capstoning the last bit here. And it really has, as you mentioned, like redefined the footprint, the impact, and the shape of Solano Community College. And so this is both super monumental. I'm curious what our rating was. I know we had had an increase 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I left off. I
Yeah,
forgot
so
what
it was
left off.
increased a couple years ago, and I'm blanking, it was an AA2 with the promise of a potential increase, and now we're AA1 stable.
Hey,
Thank
so
you.
that
Kelly.
increases like our
I remember.
our interest that we can, our
Yeah,
lowest
so it's
interest
better
that we can-
interest rates, better for our
interest rates.
taxpayers,
Right, right.
absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's
first.
important.
That's
Yes.
really high things about us.
So are there any other questions, comments? If not, please call the roll.
Trustee Boyce,
Aye.
trustee Wing Greer,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
trustee Thurston,
Aye.
trustee Cargo Reed,
Aye.
president Honeychurch,
Aye.
trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
So the next item is also yours. It's a contract for a lighting upgrade.
Yeah, so this is for the architecture and design of the lighting upgrade project in Building 1400, our student center. It is to do the interior replacement in order to have more energy efficiency and system controls. We are currently working, because I know the question's going to come up, but on our campus-wide lighting. The study's been started. We're underway on some repairs so that we can finish that study, so that we can incorporate that into some small projects.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the contract for the lighting upgrade?
I'll move that we approve item 13B.
I second.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is on E, amendment number 2, for Optima for the hydronic vault repair project.
Yes, so this one allows us to get additional inspections on the project as we're going through the process. So it's not just the standard that we've had in the past, this is actually additional inspections to make sure that we're taking care of this project for years and decades to come. So asking for your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the amendment for Optima B1200 and B300?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? If not, all, you did?
Okay. Real quick, can you just briefly of why it's a good idea to make sure we have these terms?
Yeah,
Just
so we always
overview.
do inspections, right? There's always certain inspections they have to, in order to get permits, we have to do inspections. But what we found in this project especially is that sometimes if there aren't additional inspections certain times throughout the process, things get covered in concrete, right? And then you can't inspect it after that fact. So this allows us to have those additional inspections to make sure every step of the way, not just for permitting, we are doing those inspections.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Not, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On to item F, which is a change order from Matrix for the building 1200 and B300 hydronic vault replacement project.
Yes, so on this one, so around building 300 where we're doing these replacement projects, there's some high point air vents, and that's kind of causing some of our issues that we're having because they're higher than other areas. And the company actually did an evaluation whether we should reroute these high vent air vents, or if we should have a demolition and actually go through the concrete and do it that way. There's actually a cost savings to do the demolition. It also adds more structural integrity to the project, and so we're recommending that we go that route. Because of the noise that it will create to do this demolition. We are looking to do it over winter break, so that the school's not in session. It's right outside Trustee Boyce's classroom, so we don't want to disturb his classroom either, but we're asking for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve the change order number 4 for Matrix?
I move that we approve the change order as reported.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is also presented by Vice President Reed, which is a change, G, contractor pre-qualification process.
Yes.
It all goes back to the hydronic.
It does. It does. This one, we're looking, so this is the bigger project. We've been doing some repairs and that's what those change orders go towards, but this is for the bigger project. We're wanting to do a pre-qualification before bidding happens. We did that for building 1600. It allows us to make sure that anybody who's bidding on it has the qualifications before we actually accept their bid. So we're asking that you approve this resolution to allow us to do that pre-qualification step first.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the pre-qualification process?
I
I'll
make a
make a-
motion, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's a motion
I'll second it, yeah.
and a second for this. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
This is actually a
It's a
resolution.
resolution.
So I'm gonna ask that you do the roll
Oh.
call. Thank
Missed
you.
that.
Usually
It is a resolution.
It is a resolution. It doesn't, yeah, it's,
Read the fine print.
It is
Please
very
call the
small,
roll.
by the way.
Okay. Trustee Wynn Greer,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
trustee Thurston,
Aye.
trustee Boyce,
Aye.
President Honeychurch,
Aye.
trustee Cargo Reed,
Aye.
student trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment real fast, President Honeychurch. I really like the idea of the pre-qualification process. I think it's perhaps this is something that we may consider moving forward because it saves a lot of time and it just cuts through in terms of like, if you're not qualified, we can move on. So I think this is great. So thank you so much for bringing it forward.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. So we're going to move on now to item H, which is a change order number 4 for Flow Builders. for the
Vacaville.
CBDB Vacaville.
Vacaville.
Water intrusion.
So I saved the best one for last. This is, we're asking for approval of this change order. One, it's for a short time extension, but the better part is it's a credit back to our project reserves. So asking for you to approve us getting money back.
I definitely approve.
I make a
Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion for agenda item 13H. I like that.
Second.
If there's a motion and a second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, we're on to academic affairs. Vice President Williams is the presenter of this sabbatical leave of the academic year 26-27.
Yeah, thank you, President Honeychurch and members of the board. Every year, faculty have the opportunity to apply for a sabbatical. And this year, we have awarded 2. I believe in your packet, you have information about the sabbatical, but just real briefly, Josh Scott, who you know well, he's our current academic senate president. He's going to take a leave in the fall. A couple of years ago, we ended our reading program, and there's been some challenges, I think, with students and reading following that up. So he's going to do some independent study in the field of reading to see if there's some things that we can do to help students be better prepared for the rest of their classes. And then Zach Hannon in the spring is one of our math and physics faculty members, and he's going to do a sabbatical looking at a flipped classroom for an online asynchronous statistics course, also using zero-cost textbook for the statistics program. And he wants to make this available to other faculty, create a ready-made Canvas shell for faculty to use, and share it at the statewide math conference for other faculty to be able to use. So our sabbatical committee felt that these are both very worthy projects that would benefit our students, and we're asking for your approval of these sabbaticals.
All right, thank you. So is there a motion to approve the sabbatical proposals?
I'll make a motion to approve the sabbatical.
I will second the
Just
motion.
moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Next is Student Services. Vice President Lisa Neely is presenting, and the first item is a Student Equity and Achievement Plan. Discuss.
Yes, thank you, President Honeychurch, and good evening, members of the board. I wanted to summarize kind of what's happened over the last couple of weeks since we last met. This is the first reading was a couple of weeks ago, and of course tonight we'll be asking for approval of the plan. But wanted to kind of remind us of the process to date, and so I've written some things down, and I wanted to make sure that we're able to communicate on behalf of all of the folks who worked on this plan. So as you know, we've had many, many months of kind of open dialogue, opportunity for folks to be able to share perspectives. We have worked with faculty, we've worked with students, we have worked with staff, we've worked with administrators, really kind of revising continuously and an iterative process that allows us to kind of take on board new ideas, perspectives, suggestions, and make sure that they kind of find their way into the plan. And as I reminded folks a couple of weeks ago, this is really a roadmap proposing a direction rather than a specific blueprint. And the idea is that it has flexibility and allows us to be able to pivot as student needs may change and conditions evolve. I do want to talk a little bit about, the last meeting. We know that there were several students that came to the meeting and wanted to speak to the board candidly in terms of sharing their perspectives, some of which were obviously very passionate and certainly had a sense of kind of some divergent perspectives maybe that folks had heard. So I want to sort of be able to speak to that. And really, that's a part of the process. That's been a part of the iterative process, being able to kind of hear, have some deep listening, really absorb what folks are saying, what the concerns are, and have a way to find how to embed that into the plan. So I think that's a really important part. And that was also another opportunity for further discussion rather than a source of division. That's really about how do we come together and really have these conversations. And I think also to state that in this new plan, even though there is a wider perspective, that our commitment to Black students is not diminishing or shifting through this plan. We know that equity gaps for students, for Black students particularly, that's something that we see echoed nationwide and certainly statewide. So we are not alone in our journey in terms of how we work to support Black students, because we know that we are also trying to dismantle decades of sort of systemic exclusion. I've spent, therefore, in the last couple of weeks, many hours, kind of revisiting some conversations with students. I've spoken to many of the students that actually were here at the meeting a couple of weeks ago, and it really provided an opportunity to have deeper conversation, to really hear them out. For those who haven't yet had a chance to read the plan, I was able to kind of walk them through the structure, talk about the metrics, kind of contextualize what this work is about, and certainly hear their concerns and their ideas. And that direct conversation that we've had has definitely found its way into the draft that we're presenting tonight. So I think that's important to mention, so that their input, along with input of a lot of other folks, have directly impacted how we've approached this plan. I also think it's important to note that because of our intentional focus with the previous plan on Black students, the RP group, which is really the nonprofit research team supporting community college professional development, they have actually followed our progress over the last 3 years because we made a pretty unique decision. And they've actually recently invited us to serve on their statewide advisory committee because they're going to be furthering their research examining Black student tipping point for transfer success. So that's something to also note, that externally to the college, as well as things that are happening on campus, have been noticed, and folks are interested in terms of what it is that we're doing. So the decision, I think, to broaden our strategic lens this time around, to include our LGBTQ+ students, to include our Latinx students, is really about how to strengthen rather to in any way diminish our equity work. I think we can do both things, and I think it's important because we really understand the interconnectedness between many of the barriers that our students face. And so it's really about building coalition rather than seeing this as a sort of zero-sum competition. A couple of just quick highlights in terms of changes to the document. As a result of all of these conversations and all of this great, rich feedback, the plan itself and the executive summary, we are offering a more forthright assessment of the previous plan, acknowledging obviously that we wanted to be more candid as a way of modeling what that greater accountability looks like. We know at the same time, though, there are several outcomes that have showed marked improvement and showed green shoots of change, and it's important to also tell that story. We've talked about it in terms of improved transfer outcomes. We've had some promising persistence from first to second semester, even when the population has expanded. And we know that we've expanded a lot of the work that we're doing in basic needs, with housing support, et cetera. So, and of course, the Falcon Flyer is something that was really a cornerstone of this last plan. It was something that the college has talked about, and students have yearned for better transportation for years. We were able to accomplish those things. So it's really thinking holistically about the story that we're telling. There are also some revisions to the metric strategies, 2 pieces there. We had a lot of really good conversations with faculty. So we wanted to highlight the role of faculty purview, but also make sure that the metrics really aligned with the goals that we were suggesting. And then we've also named a commitment to kind of a robust project management structure going forward. So if we are approved to go forward and submit to the Chancellor's Office, the idea is that we're going to build a broader, kind of more robust structure going forward to help us assess progress, track metrics, certainly make sure that we're centering the student voice and really broadening out a sense of shared responsibility. Because the idea is that this really is a campus-wide project and ownership that way. So I think this draft sustains and maintains a vital commitment to Black student success, while also building a more resilient equity architecture to do this work and really see how we can do this and sustain long-term commitment. In closing, I just wanted to mention 2 quick things. I know that there was a question last time that was raised at the board meeting about support for our AAPI students and our veteran students. In the plan itself, veteran students are explicitly named. I think it's about page 30. And it's at the end of the plan where we talk about Vision 2030, because that population of students has been named by the Chancellor's Office as a priority group for access, belonging, and completion. And then with AAPI students, we know that we're also supporting them in other ways. The Chancellor's Office has created things like the ANAPI grant, Student Support Program grant, which we've done some amazing things with the help of students and student ambassadors and faculty on campus who are really committed to supporting that population. And I think the C plan by design, I'm not saying I think I know, the C plan by design is really about how do we focus on our students who have the deepest inequities and focus there, but we know that the work in a lot of ways will also enable us to support more equitable outcomes for all of our students, because by in some ways looking at some of the specific niche interventions for certain groups, it allows us to also dream bigger and think about how do we scale those for other groups. So I just wanted to say that because I think it's important to talk about the fact that we're not going to leave any student behind, but the plan does ask us to focus on specific populations, which is what we've done. And then just finally, on behalf of everyone who's put their fingerprints on this plan in one way or another, huge thank you. It's been a lot of work, a lot of time, commitment, I think brave conversations, difficult conversations. And I think at the center of that, we want to really reaffirm how we value the student voice, the authentic student voice, students being able to tell their own stories, their lived experiences in their own words, on their own behalf. And that's something I think really lies at the center of what we do, and we've really tried through this process over the last 8 months to create space for that, and a lot of those conversations have directly impacted the plan and have made it a better plan. So 2 weeks ago, the ASSC student government approved the plan, and then on Monday, the academic senate has also approved the plan. So with that commitment in mind, it remains to humbly ask for approval for the student equity plan 2025 to 2028.
Thank you for your work, which is extensive on this project, this plan. So is there a motion to approve the Student Equity and Achievement Plan?
I move that we approve the Student Equity and Achievement Plan 3.0 for 2025 through 2028.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the plan. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to make a comment, if that's possible, President Honeychurch.
I saw Quentin's, yeah.
Please.
So, firstly, thank you. You said so many of the things that were on my mind about this, so you covered so many of the bases. And please, if we didn't, I know some of the students had left before we got the chance to actually talk about it. So please do extend our thanks for that. It is incredibly important that students show up and yeah, get us to think about things in another way. Like that's exactly what we hope for. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, and thank you for taking the time to help them navigate it as well too. I think this is a really great plan, and I want to kind of echo, or to not echo, but like to Trustee Nguyen's point last time. I do get that the SAA plan, yeah, should be our statement to the Chancellor's Office. Like, here's how we're thinking about where we're falling short with certain student populations. So, but for other populations, how would a student like know what sort of services that are specific to their target demographic? Like how would they know other, I mean, because it wouldn't be in this plan, but like, like a veteran or an Asian student who was like, hey, what are the sort of specific programs? Like how would they know that?
Well, I think it's interesting. What we've really tried to do on a couple of fronts. I mean, certainly we have in our new hire, although I guess it's been about 3 months now, our new director of student development and engagement, Dr. Gabby Ballesteros, who comes with a lot of experience in terms of working with student organizations and really helping to create that dialogue and really create that understanding. I think secondly, there are a lot of student support and aid programs where we want to continuously figure out how to message to students that we're here. Some of the notations in the C plan around success teams is really trying to create a more holistic kind of ecosystem around students, so that right from day one, their orientation and their onboarding includes lots of information about what's out there. We also understand too that students, have a lot of different affinities that they are experiencing and wanting to kind of speak to. So we also want to try to, as much as possible, offer intersectional opportunities, both in terms of programming, et cetera. We can always do better. So I think we're always kind of thinking about how do we utilize social media? How do we make sure we meet students where they are? How do we make sure that we're really telling the right story and kind of capturing their imagination? And if there's something that we're not providing, student input has really been helpful to help us figure out what might be missing. So I think there's a number of ways, but we have to work very holistically and cohesively. And some of the work in student services we've done over the last couple of months is to really re-examine how do we, in a sense, create that holistic framework for students so that they're not having to go shopping from window to window to figure out, is this here? I'm not sure, where do I go?
Right.
But really like, hey, we're here, we have your back. Here's a team of folks who are going to support you and kind of walk with you on this journey. And here are the different things you might be able to take advantage of along the way. And in fact, the things we really encourage you to take advantage of.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Trustee.
Thank you so much there, sir. Trustee Voice, thank you so much for that comment. I really appreciate that, sir. VP Neely, thank you so much for your presentation. Every time I hear your voice, I feel very soothed and know that everything's gonna be okay, But first and foremost, I really want to say that I love your phrase, dream bigger. This Student Equity and Achievement Plan 3.0 weighed heavily on my mind after the last board meeting. After hearing several of the students speak, I went back home, thought about, are we doing the right thing for our students? Because I think I've emphasized in all of the meetings when I do talk that I'm all about the student success and ensuring that our students do well. And so reading what you have shared with us and reading this here today and in the red here, I just want to say that first and foremost, I feel good that our students are going to be in great hands. And secondly, I like the fact that the college was established here on page 311. The college will establish a project management framework to guide the plan's rollout, monitoring, tracking expenditures, and evaluation. I think it's very important that we have deliverables and measurables. Where I work, I'm required to have deliverables and measurables to my boss. And so I think this is very important. So to see that, well, it makes me feel better in terms of supporting this. But at the same time, reading down below and also knowing that the Associated Students of Solano College voted in support of this, as well as the Academic Senate, makes me feel better in terms of supporting this 3.0 plan. So thank you very much for your presentation. I also want to recognize the employees and those who contributed to this. I see the list is pretty long. Some of the individuals that I know I've gotten to know for the past year, including yourself, Shannon Danley, Christina Rodriguez, Dara. I'm really glad to hear that this has been a very inclusive process. So thank you so much.
Appreciate the comments, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll work hard to live up to it.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
So, I see that this is a good plan. I am glad that it's not the in-stone plan because there are still a lot of uncertainties. You do have a population, not the whole student population, but I'm glad we had input from some of our students, especially the academics in the Senate. However, I still don't feel comfortable with the language. I still don't feel comfortable with thinking that everything was resolved in 2 weeks because there was so much issues back and forth in conversation. No, that's a good thing. I'm glad that there was discourse, because that's where you get a lot of other perspectives and ideas. So for me, I appreciate all the hard work. I see that this is with good intentions, but again, I'm not gonna be able to get behind it, not at this time, based on what I know, based on when I spoke to other faculty and other students. And I think we do need to explore this a little bit more, not rush it. And I know that this isn't in stone, I know this is just an overview, but there is still too much that needs to be resolved before I'm okay with supporting this. So I'm just gonna be on the record for it now.
Thank you for your comments. So at this time, this is not a resolution, so it's a yea or nay. All those in favor of the Student Equity and Achievement Plan, please say aye. Opposed?
No,
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, thanks for your work on that.
Thank you.
So it's Technology Services, Vice President John Manson will be presenting the agreement between Visions and the college.
Thank you, President Honey Church and members of the board. Up before you is an agreement with eVisions for report converting services. So just really quick, we have Banner, which runs the day-to-day operations of our college, pays our employees, lets our students register, maintains all of our records. And we have to produce reports out of Banner. They're used for various operational decision-making as well as state reporting requirements. As part of the Banner SaaS, there's about 250 of these reports, in fact, over 250 total. As part of our Banner SaaS project, these have to be converted to a different database backend. And we need help from the vendor to do the priority reports that must get done before we launch those systems. So, happy to answer the questions, but that's what this contract is for, to help us get a boost, if you will, get these reports done.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, concerns? No? So is there a motion?
No, not yet.
Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve
Technology
item
services.
13K.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded to approve the agreement between eVisions and Solano Community College. All those in favor? Please say- All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go on now to information items. So, sorry, we don't have any information items, do we? Announcements? Any announcements? Brilliant. Do you have an announcement?
I do.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mentioned it at a previous meeting, but today the dual enrollment program that we host on campus, the early college program with FSUSD, is being honored tonight with the Golden Bell Award for innovative instructional program. So I just wanted to, we had a little celebration today at lunch, and so they're being honored tonight at a banquet in Sacramento. So just wanted to give a shout out to FSUSD and that's for that.
Thanks,
Great
Trustee
partnership.
Boyce. I think you could have been excused to go.
No.
But that's, I know from being on the K-12 board for a term, and then my spouse was on the left.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great honor.
Yeah, it is. It
Big
is
deal.
incredible.
Great honor. Congratulations. Yes.
I
Those
don't
awards
have
that
for that. Let me
are
hear
given
mine.
to students on campus, are they televised so that we put on our website and made available to the public if they, don't come to the events, whatever?
For this award, I have no idea.
I don't know,
I'm
I
sorry.
was asking. Some of the personnel here, if they're televised.
What's televised?
For students on campus receive certain awards, like you mentioned a moment ago, are they televised? That way, I'm asking if they are televised, are they put on our website so the people will, and the communities, all the colleges we represent, where the students come from, they will see it and they'll be recognized that the students in their areas receiving these awards. It's not going to be a best kept secret if it's put out there on Facebook or whatever, the internet.
I know
Or in local
for this one in
papers.
particular, I know our principal and a few board members from FSUSD are receiving the award tonight, and so they'll for sure take pictures and get some. I'll make sure promotional stuff gets to our site as well. So it's help.
It should also be in the media.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
good
on
for you.
social media, but not necessarily on the television.
Yes, no, social media.
The Daily Republic.
Right.
All right.
And the local.
That on
Next
every
question.
MSNBC.
Thank you. Well,
You
congratulations.
get to politician.
Yeah, congratulations.
And the next item is items from the board, of which there are there any items from the board? Thank you. Then we'll move on to adjournment, which I'll call upon Avery Young, the delegate from
May I
Vallejo.
speak now?
What's that?
May I speak
No,
now?
you get to make your
You
motion.
may make the motion.
How long that we adjourn?
I second the motion.
And thank you.
Thank you.